For the last couple of months, I decided to work on a transcription of Mark Giuliana, and this is what I've learned from it. Hi everyone, I'm Alfio Laini, and in this video I will teach you what I've learned from transcribing Mark Giuliana. The video of me performing the transcription is already on my channel, so make sure to check it if you haven't done it yet. And let's get into the lesson. So, the transcription I've worked on is Mark Giuliana's solos on 7 Ways by Jason Lindner. And on 3/4 of the solo, he almost only played bass drum, hi-hat and snare, but in a very interesting and soloistic way. I've taken a few points and I've created some exercises that I'm going to share with you. But first, let's listen to a couple of extracts of example from this solo. The first thing you may have noticed is how many ghost notes he plays on the snare. It's crazy. He plays ghost note right before the backbeat, right after the backbeat or an accent, multiple ghost notes in a row. It's crazy. For your left hand technique, it's a tremendous work. So what I've done is taken a few cells and create exercises to practice on each one of them. And little disclaimer, I'm not gonna play everything in this video, otherwise it would be like 1 hour long. But you can find on my Patreon all the PDF with every exercises and also a video where I play all of them fast and slow. So if you wanna really practice it and get deep in that, make sure to check my Patreon page, link in the bio. So here are a couple of examples of snare ghost note exercises. The second point I want to touch on is how, in certain moments, he applies flam rudiments in his grooves, including flam tap, inverting flam tap, Swiss Army triplets, etc., etc. And I'm gonna show you an example of Swiss Army triplets. And how it is applied in his groove. Here's the rudiment on the snare. And here is a groove I created where we apply the Swiss Army triplet. 5 other rudiments and the groove I created based on them are on my exercise sheet. So now, the third point I want to talk about is how Mark Giuliana used his bass drum. Sometimes with the backbeat or with a snare ghost note. He doesn't play linear at all. Linear meaning one note at a time. Sometimes he plays the 3 limbs together, sometimes snare with bass drum. And that's really interesting because you're gonna expand your vocabulary with more combination possible. And the exercise I've created based on that is a bit inspired by David Garibaldi's displacement exercise that we can find in his book The New Breed. And I've done a bit the same. I've taken hand patterns from my previous exercises, for example the snare ghost notes grooves or the rudiment bass groove, and then you take a bass drum figure and you displace it by 16th note. And this is an example. Something important is that you shouldn't change the hand patterns at all. Even when you play a bass drum with a snare ghost note. Now I'm gonna play the whole exercises, every displacement a bit faster. This concept of exercise, you can apply it with every hand pattern you want and every bass drum figure you want. Here is another example where I stick with the same bass drum figure, 2 16th notes in a row, double stroke, and I change the hand patterns. Now I take the flam tap based groove. Cool, so now we've gone through all the points. If you want to have the PDF with all the detailed exercises, check out my Patreon. And before we finish, I want to show you guys how it sounds when I apply all of this concept in a little groove solo. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit the like, subscribe, and check out my Patreon if you want to support me. And see you in the next video.